Let's take the basic idea of automation and apply it elsewhere. There is a section in the song that people have been asking me about where, actually there's a few sections, but we're going to introduce it with this basic concept. If you listen to measure 16 or before going into measure 17, when the guitar starts playing on its own, you're also going to hear that the tone of the guitar changes. It becomes thin and kind of hollow. And let's see if we can hear that, and this video will get demonetized.
Ain't enough, go get the chop, get the bus. And if I ain't enough, go get the chop. It's safe to say I earned it, ain't a nigga gave me nothing.
Okay, so besides, the N-word that we like to eliminate as much as possible, so there's something going on here, that it's not just the guitar playing. So we have a couple of different options here, and I know that everyone, or a number of people, took this idea into their own hands and made a stereo instrument track for this. I'm going to not, will I do it the way everyone else did it? Sure, why not? And just taking these down here. So now I have a second track for my guitar. Interesting, why is it in one ear? Oh, because it's a mono track. So let me delete that. No, don't do that. Let's take this back up. All right, so stuff happens for a reason. That's fine. Now I'm going to make a mono instrument track. Drag this down. Copy contact. Okay, so it's the exact same. So this is introducing the idea of effects. This is introducing, getting to the idea of automation. So underneath this contact, I'm going to click in the second insert, plug in, and I'm going to use something from the EQ category. You should not have all of these choices. You don't. And what I'm going to choose for this is the Airkill EQ. All right. So we did talk, I'm not just really quickly. I showed you this EQ when we were in the studio. It is a 5-band parametric and a 7-band EQ. You have two filters, the high pass and the low pass filter, and you have low frequencies, low mids, high mids, and highs. This is more complicated, but the Airkill EQ is what's called a filter, and it allows you to do exactly what it says, is to kill certain frequencies that are kind of defined by these knobs here. Well, that's the how much you kill them by. But let's listen to this now. It sounds the exact same. I'm going to kill the lows. Doesn't sound all that different because there's not a lot of low-end information in that sound. Let's kill the mids. All right, so that's starting to get interesting because that is just the high frequencies. It thins it out. Let's kill the highs and leave just the mids. Okay, so you can change, what frequency. So I'm going to kind of go around there. So it's a little midier, it's a little lower. And I'm going to just have the highs play. So now when I play that, all right, so that is one way to achieve that effect. Now, let's say I don't want to move this from another track. There's reasons that I would maybe do that, including the fact that multiple contacts is a drag on the processor. I'm going to insert the Airkill EQ on this track. And what I'd like to do is have it kind of go, I'm sorry, let me reset this for a second. That was fine. This down to about 1. Let's say that I kind of want to be able to control this and have this effect go on and off when I want it to. So we can automate anything any knob you see, any button you see, those are called parameters. So this is like the low frequency parameter, the sweep parameter, the highs, etc. When we click on this button under the word auto, what we get is the plug-in automation options. So we can turn on and off the lows and highs from at a different time. But all I want to do for this is to turn on and off the master bypass, which is essentially the on-off switch of this effect. So what did I just do? I see a menu of what's available, and I'm going to order off of this menu the master bypass. So this is like the waiter coming to your table and saying, what would you like to order? And I'm going to add the master bypass to the actual order receipt. Then I'm going to hit OK. When I come to my automation lane, I can click on velocity, and besides just audio volume like we learned about in panning, now there is this master bypass parameter that I just added to the list of things. Now what's a little bit confusing is if I turn this bypass on, you see that the line goes up, and if I turn it off, it goes down to the bottom. When the master bypass is engaged, or when the bypass is on, the effect is off. So it's a little bit confusing, but not really if you think about it. Bypass means to ignore and turn this thing off. So I'm just going to click on bypass because all I want to do is during this 8 measure section, I'm going to turn the effect on by turning the bypass off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my grabber tool, and I'm going to put a anchor point at either the beginning, at both the beginning and end of this clip. I'm going to click another one and kind of drag it down and over. So, this is something that I don't want to start there. I want to start it right when that part plays. And then I want it to come off when it gets, or I should say, I want the bypass to go off. I want the bypass to go back on and the effect to go back off. See what I'm saying? It's a little bit confusing, but pay attention. So now when I play back, so same effect, but I don't need another track for it. I can control what I want to control. Here it comes back at full fidelity. Okay, so automating effects. Take 1.